Okay, Dave Nicholson's The Big Movie Tag. Being a movie lover, of course, you know I had to do this one. So, anyway, there is altogether, 60 questions. I hope I can get through this in one night. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to answer them all. So, he wasn't kidding when he said big, because that's a big tag. Anyhow, on with the questions. 1. Favorite film of all time? I'd say my favorite film of all time is Uncle Buck from 1989 with John Candy. It was directed by John Hughes and also starred a very young Macaulay Culkin. Of course, this was pre-Home Alone. It was one of the first movies I saw him in. But anyway, John Candy was, as he always is, superb in that movie. 2. Favorite scene from this film? My favorite scene has to be when he is using the shovel to make pancakes on the griddle, and he makes these giant pancakes, and he says, "This is where you separate the men from the boys." And then after that, the kids come down and he goes, "Happy birthday," and he's dressed like a rat with a nose and everything, and he said, "You should have seen the toast. I couldn't get through the door." Talk about a big breakfast. 3. Favorite action film? Hands down, my favorite action film is Suburban Commando from 1991, and that's with Hulk Hogan. That was one of his early movies. He co-starred in that with Shelley Duvall and Christopher Lloyd. He played Shep Ramsey, who was an intergalactic warrior. 4. Favorite thriller film? Thriller. I guess Alfred Hitchcock would be considered a thriller, so I'd have to say The Birds. 5. Favorite psychological film? Psychological. Psychological. Dreamcatcher. It was adapted by. It was created based on a Stephen King book, but it was from 2003. A lot of psychological elements in that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. 6. Favorite comedy film? Man, there's so many I like, but hard to pin it on just one. But if I must, I'd have to say my favorite comedy film would have to be, what is it called? Spaceballs, with Rick Moranis, Bill Pullman, John Candy, and George Weiner. 7. Favorite scene from this film? My favorite scene from the movie Spaceballs has to be when Dark Helmet, Colonel Sanders, and one of his cronies, their soldiers or whatever, are in front of Mr. Rental, and they're trying to watch Spaceballs the movie, and then they land right on themselves in the scene. And then Dark Helmet turns to the viewer and says, "What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?" And then Colonel Sanders says, "You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now." 8. Favorite dark humor or black comedy? Black comedy. What would be an example of black comedy? Maybe this is more for dark humor. Stripes from 1981. There was a lot of dark humor in that because it took place in the army. 9. Funniest scene from this film? I'd have to say when Bill Murray's character John and all the soldiers do the razzle-dazzle scene in front of the drill sergeant. And then at the end of it he goes, "That's a fact, Jack!" 10. Favorite horror film? Hands down, Friday the 13th, the very first one. 11. Favorite animated film? I'd have to say Aladdin from 1991. 12. Favorite short film? This has to be my favorite short film is a Looney Tunes short, and it's directed by, I think, Fritz Freeling, but it stars Bugs Bunny, and it's called Hairless Wolf. And the whole premise of it is a wolf has to go out and hunt a rabbit for supper, and then Bugs leads him on a wild goose chase, and he keeps forgetting what he has to get for supper. And then at the end of the short, which I find is very funny, Bugs looks up at him because he's still trying to remember, and he goes, "Well, good night, folks. We're running out of time." And then the short ends. 13, favorite romance film. Me, Myself, and Irene. 14, favorite biographical film. The King's Speech. That's about King George V and his stuttering problem and how he became king. 15, favorite drama film. Ghost from 1991 with Patrick Swayze. 16, favorite music-themed film or musical. I'd say The Wizard of Oz from 1939. 17, favorite mystery film. Scooby-Doo, like the live-action version, with Freddie Prinze Jr., Linda Cardellini, Matthew Lillard, and I think I said Freddie Prinze Jr., and Sarah Michelle Gellar, and as the villain, Rowan Atkinson. 18, favorite sci-fi film. Forbidden Planet, which stars a very young Leslie Nielsen. 19, favorite indie film. The Blair Witch Project, maybe. 20, top 5 directors. Ivan Reitman, John Hughes, Mel Brooks, Carl Reiner, and I'd have to say, who's the last one? Billy Wilder. Favorite book adaptation, 21. I'd say The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. 22, worst book adaptation. Worst book adaptation. Now this is based on a comic book, and some people might disagree with me, but I didn't really care for Batman and Robin, the last movie in the 90s Batman franchise. I think they were trying to make it more too like the 60s TV series. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that show, but let me tell you something. George Clooney is not Adam West by a long shot. Where was I? Well, I better go down a little bit so I can keep my place. 23, favorite old film. Old. I'd have to say from 1956, Partners with Martin Lewis. 24, favorite film score. I'd have to say my favorite score has to be the Superman theme by John Williams, because I always love Superman. Not to mention John Williams as a composer. 25, favorite compilation soundtrack. Music from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. 26, top 5 actors. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, John Candy, Joe Pesci, and Jerry Seinfeld. Top 5 actresses. Cameron Diaz, who else? Renee Zellweger, Alicia Silverstone, she's good in a lot of her movies. Deborah Messing, and who else do I know that's an actress? Oh, Jennifer Aniston. 28, guilty pleasure film. Happy Gilmore. Yeah. 29, most hated film. Again, I already touched on this in the book question, but I'd say it was Batman and Robin. 30, film you refuse to see. There's not many films I refuse to see, but after the first time I saw it, I couldn't watch it again, and that's Marley and Me. I'm not going to give it away for those who haven't seen it, but I just can't watch it anymore. 31, films you can't wait to come out. I can't wait to see Happy Gilmore 2. I'm dying to see where Adam Sandler takes this. I want to see Cheech and Chong's last movie. So there's another 2 for you. 32 films you want to see but never get around to watching. I pretty much watch any movie I'm interested in, so I'll have to pass on that one, Dave. 33 most overrated film. The latest Lilo and Stitch, I think. The 34 most underrated film. Ernest Goes to Camp. Not a lot of people know about Ernest nowadays. 35 most overrated actor. I don't know many actors that are overrated. Yeah, so I'll have to answer the same for actresses because I don't know many actresses that are overrated. 37 best tearjerker. I'd say a tearjerker. So that's a movie that makes you cry. What movie made me cry? Well, the last movie John Candy made before he died makes me cry, just because I know he's not going to be making any more movies. But that was Wagons East. 38 remake you wish had never been made. The Dukes of Hazzard with Jessica Simpson. 39 favorite movie location or setting. I'd say my favorite movie location would have to be Edge City in The Mask. It's so dark and mysterious looking. 40 favorite cinematographer. Stanford Tischler, ACE. 41 most beautiful film in terms of cinematography. I'd have to say the 1970 movie MASH, which itself was based on which was the basis for the TV show. 42 film that started your interest in film. First movie I saw that started me being interested in movies was Hatari with John Wayne. It's where he heads a group of professionally skilled game hunters in Africa. 43 favorite actor or actor crush. Well, I don't really have a crush on an actor, but if I had to, I always loved John Candy's work. 44 weird actor crush. Well, some people think I'm crazy, but I like a lot of Don Knotts' work. 45 most annoying actor. Yes. I liked him in Taxi, but a lot of his movies he's subpar in, I think. Andy Kaufman. 46 most annoying actress. Most annoying actress. I'm drawing a blank there, Dave. Most actresses are pretty good, but I don't know many annoying ones. 47 movie you love that everyone else hates. The Next Karate Kid, which Hilary Swank plays with Pat Morita, who plays Mr. Miyagi in that. Yeah, everybody else likes Daniel LaRusso, but I thought that was a pretty good underdog story. 48 movie you hate that everyone loves. What movie do I hate that everyone loves? There's Something About Mary, maybe. I mean, I like some parts of that movie, but overall I didn't really care for it. 49 movie that didn't meet your expectations. Well, I touched on this in an earlier question, but like I said, The Dukes of Hazzard from 2005. I mean, don't get me wrong, Burt Reynolds played a great Boss Hogg, but the rest of the cast didn't pull their weight, and it didn't carry the energy that the show had. 50 movie that exceeded your expectations. I'd have to say a movie that exceeded my expectations was Herbie Fully Loaded, which was a relaunch of the Herbie the Love Bug series, and it starred Michael Keaton and Lindsay Lohan, and Lindsay Lohan drove Herbie the Love Bug in a race. It was actually a pretty good movie, I thought. It had the same energy and emotion as all the original movies. 51 best cinema experience. The best cinema experience I had was in 1989 when I went to 3-star cinema to see Batman with Michael Keaton. It was a double billing with that and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. One of the best movies I ever went and saw. 52, best film you've seen in 3D. Oh, hands down, Led Zeppelin Celebration Day, which was their reunion concert that they performed in memory of Ahmet Ergen, who owned Atlantic Records. Where was I? 53, most surprising movie moment. I'd say the most surprising movie moment for me was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like I said, when the kids actually first shrank, that was astonishing to say the least, because I never before that experienced kids who are 1/4 of an inch tall and everything around them being humongous, right? Excuse me. 54, favorite movie character duo. Cheech and Chong. I gotta get a drink, guys, sorry. Where was I? Favorite dance sequence in a movie. I'd say my favorite dance sequence is the dance scene from Footloose. 56, favorite decade for movies. Oh, hands down, the 60s. It was 2 decades before I was born, but that's when all the great ones came out. 57, remake you want to be made. I'd say a remake I'd want to be made, if it had to be. I mean, it has to be with all new actors, because all the original actors are dead. But I would love to see a remake of The Apartment from 1960. I don't think it could be made in today's very culturally sensitive world, but it really challenged audiences back in those days. 58, favorite screenplay. Well, I just said it, The Apartment from 1960. It was about an insurance clerk named Bud Baxter who lent out his apartment to his bosses to take their mistresses, and that was his way of climbing the corporate ladder. And then he has a major problem to solve, I guess, after that. I'm not going to give too much of it away, but it was a great movie, I thought, and one of Billy Wilder's best and Jack Lemmon's most amazing performances. 59, most disturbing movie I've ever seen. Disturbing. I don't know many disturbing movies, but I'd have to say Marley and Me. Like I said, I'm not going to give it away, but a lot of disturbing moments in there, and it was a bad one, sad one too. 60 and final, favorite upcoming actor. I'd say my favorite upcoming actor is who is that? Is Kevin Hart. I mean, he's not really new, but a lot of his stuff is new, like movies, because he's more of a comedian than anything. But he has a lot of good stuff. He might even give Chris Tucker a ride for his money. So there's the 60 question big movie tag from Dave Nicholson. That was a mouthful to do. I'll repost the questions for anybody that wants to answer it on my channel. Later, Dave.